Hi guys. Alright, today we're going to be solving systems of equations as described to us in word problems. So, steps to doing this. Number one, read the problem. Seems obvious, but sometimes kids don't read the problem. And if they're just going to read and pick out numbers, you're not going to know what to do with them. Secondly, I would recommend, and I'm going to show you how to do it, annotate the problem so you can make sense of the situation and help you to write the equations to match the situation. And then, once you have equations written, you need to choose what method is going to help you solve the equations best. You can always use substitution. You can always use elimination. But the way that the equations are set up to begin with will make one method make one method easier than the other. Let's put it that way. So substitution would be easier when you have one of your equations in y equals mx plus b form and the other equation in standard form. Elimination is easier when you have both equations in standard form. Okay? I'm not going to do all the problems from class today. I'll do the harder one of these two. Okay, so there were 37 cars and trucks waiting in line to pay a toll. The number of cars was 2 less than twice the number of trucks. How many of each vehicle were in line? Okay, so first in a word problem, I always recommend defining your variables. What are we trying to find out? Okay, that's the question. How many of each vehicle were in line? So we're trying to find out how many cars. So C will represent the number of cars. And not D, I'm thinking of a different problem. T will represent the number of trucks. Okay. So it says there were 37 cars and trucks. So 37 to me sounds like a total. So it should go after an equal sign. Then it said cars and trucks. So cars plus trucks. So the number of cars plus the number of trucks equals 37. Well, that's an equation already. Then it says that the number of cars, let's use a different color. C is equal to, or was, 2 less than. So that means we're subtracting 2. Less than means subtract off 2. Twice the number of trucks. So 2t. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. So cars equals 2 less than means subtract 2 from something else. So whenever you see more than or less than, it means take these two things and reverse them. 2t minus 2. Less than and more than are tricky words. The order of the words and the order you write the equations are not always the same. Okay, it just gives us a guide to help us. Okay, so looking at the format of these equations, I have the first one in standard form, a letter plus a letter equals a number, and the other one in slope-intercept form. It's not x and y, but it's something equals, something times another variable plus or minus a number. So that means we're going to use substitution. So if I know C equals 2t minus 2, then I'm going to put that in the place of C in the first equation. So I'm going to do 2t minus 2 in place of C plus t equals 37. So 2t plus 1t is 3t minus 2 equals 37. Okay, got a basic two-step. And I have t equals 13. Wait a minute, what did t stand for? Is it how many turkeys? No, t stands for the number of trucks. So we're talking about 13 trucks. Next, we want to find out the number of cars. So I could pick either equation that I wrote in order to find cars, but it will be easier to use the equation that's already set up as cars equals 2 times 13 minus 2. So that's 26 minus 2, which is 24. So 24 is C. That's how many cars. And you can check that. Okay, the number of cars, 24, plus the number of trucks, 13. And I want to know if that's equal to 27, or 37, excuse me. Okay, 24 plus 13 does equal 37, so I did it correctly. I'm actually going to do a different problem from one I'd had it done in class, just to give you students who have already seen the class problems, I'll give you a fresh one to look at. Maybe it'll help. Okay, altogether, 292 tickets were sold for a high school basketball game. Okay, so that to me, 292 sounds like a total. Okay, an adult ticket costs $3 and a student ticket costs $1. Ticket sales were $470. That also sounds like a total to me. So that also gets an equal sign. How many of each type of ticket were sold? Okay, so we're trying to figure out A, number of adult tickets. And guys, it's really specific. It's really important you be specific. Don't just say adult tickets. Well, what about them? Are you finding out the cost, or are you finding out how many? Okay, we're finding out how many. That's specifically what it's asking, how many. And student. Because I could easily write a completely different problem, but a related problem, where I did ask you to figure out the cost of student tickets. Okay, so S is the number of student tickets. Okay, so an adult ticket is $3, so that's 3A, and that's plus. A student ticket is $1, 1S, and that equals the 470. So 3 adult tickets plus 1 student ticket equals $470 for money. $3 for an adult ticket, $1 for a student ticket equals $470. It also says that the tickets, there was 292 altogether. That means the number of adult tickets plus the number of student tickets equals 292. Okay. Well, I've got everything in standard form, and it's all lined up. Okay, A's are lined up, S's are lined up, numbers are lined up, equals are lined up, plus and minuses, although they're both pluses, they're lined up. These are both in standard form. So I'm going to choose elimination for this. Now, remember there's invisible ones here. What I need is for the equations to be the same number. Okay, got a 1 here, got a 1 here, got that. But opposite signs. These are not opposite signs. They're both pluses. Well, if I multiply this entire equation by -1, I can make that +1 into a -1. So I'm going to make that -1A minus 1S equals negative 292. And the top equation is the one I want to work with, so I need to carry it down underneath so that the two equations I'm working with are stacked on top of each other. Okay, so now, because I multiplied that equation by negative 1, I've made a negative 1 here, I have a positive 1 here, and I can cancel. So negative 1a and positive 3a make 2a. And 470, negative 292 and a positive 470 equals 178. Divide both sides by 2. And A equals 89. So 89 adult tickets. Okay. So student tickets. Okay. So that means 89 in place of adult plus student tickets equals 292. So if I subtract 89 both sides, I get 203. All right, now if I want to check that, I want to see if $3 times 89 adult tickets plus $1 times 203 student tickets is going to equal 470. Okay, so 3 times 89 is 267 plus 203, and it does equal 470, so I did this correctly. Have a good day. See you next time.